What's good, yo? Sounds of Doubt, One Talk Takes. How we doing? Today, I'm gonna get into female nature, the brutal reality of female nature. So, before I begin, I just want to say that this is in no way to even say that, like, women need to change or that there's something wrong with female nature or that, like, there should be something done or, like, we can change it. We can. This is a brutal reality of female nature, but it's like, this is female nature, so it's like, it is what it is. So it's like I'm not here to even try to say things that I'm not trying to add any negative connotations to women. This is strictly for men to kind of realize where they go wrong in talking to women and why maybe they struggle to have a good conversation and let it flow into a date or a setup or a meetup. um, as always, my first video gives an explanation as to why I think I'm here to help and why I can help. And this is One Talk Takes, One Take Talks. Um, and let's begin. So the brutal reality with female nature is a lot of dudes so first, before we begin, women are wired by more emotional states than logical states, right? So that means that they want to feel the full range of emotions because that makes them feel like they're living life the most. When you're sitting there in a conversation and you're asking her, how was your day? And she's like, yeah, my day was good. I did this and I did. That's not tapping into anything emotional where she's feeling anything. She's just like, yeah, I get to talk about myself. Like, she responds because, you're giving her attention, and, like, the dude she's talking to right now isn't responding to her. So it's like she'll respond to you and tell her about herself because she gets to talk about herself more. She doesn't really give a fuck. That's the brutal reality. Number two is that she doesn't really give a fuck unless you're dating, unless she actually likes you, which is why I don't really chase, because it's like, is it worth it to constantly be chasing somebody that, like, will just prove that you're just there for her attention? So that's what I struggled with a lot, because I found myself as just the option because I didn't know how to talk to women and I didn't know how to make myself look valuable by, that's one thing that y'all gotta realize is you don't need day-to-day consistent communication with a woman unless she is constantly giving you that. Like, right now, I'm talking to a girl who will sometimes go ghost for, like, days, and then, like, she'll hit me back and I'll respond because it's like, I'm not petty. I don't really care that it's like days apart, because I've adapted this idea that before you're dating a woman, there's going to be this time where she will test naturally. Now, this is female nature. This is the brutal reality. This is what we're talking about today. So, she will test, and this is all subconscious. What does subconscious mean? She's doing this without even knowing. This is female nature. So it's like, she's going to test you. She's going to go back a couple. She's going to take a couple steps back. She's all just going to see how you respond. And all you got to do is just not talk to her. And that's where a lot of guys get annoyed, because they think logically. And that's not to say women can't think logically too. But men think logically. What's their most go-to response and thoughts? Yeah, she's done, or she's ghosted me. Like, my free trial's over, because it's like, that's actually part of the reason why when I was looking within, I found out that's out of men's insecurities. That's out of men being insecure and just kind of thinking that, now this is subconscious too, that men thinking like, okay, well, I'm not good enough, so that's why she dipped. That's the core belief at the epitome of it, is that's the core belief subconsciously. So as these women test and do their games, and all you have to do is just not talk to her. Let her come to you. I don't chase women. I find that I chase women when they allow them to be chased. Don't chase a woman who doesn't want to be chased. Don't chase a woman who isn't showing you interest, because that's one thing that pisses me off. When a man chases a girl who's showing him she doesn't give a fuck, cut your losses and move on. Because there's nothing worse than a man sitting there and trying to prove his worth to a woman and just devaluing himself in the dating pool. Like, you're doing no good for yourself. Sit around, man, build yourself up, women will come to you, and then you just kind of wait there around, and then, you have options, and then this is where women start to respect you more. So, that's the brutal reality. And another part what I said earlier was, she doesn't give a fuck. when you're texting her and you're like, how was your day? She's in the mode where she doesn't give a fuck because it's like, it's so boring. But then you also gotta realize when you're talking about your day, you gotta, unless she is head over heels for you, responding every minute, loves you or is showing you that she wanna love you, wants to be more, then she doesn't really care how your day was. She doesn't really care if you failed your test. She doesn't really care. Now that's not to say that she's a bad person. That's not to say like she's not sitting there like telling herself I really don't give a fuck. But subconsciously in female nature, she just doesn't really care. So it's like you gotta watch how much you talk about certain things, and that I know a lot of dudes don't like that. They're like, well, if I'm not gonna, but that's the one thing I've accepted is like, in the beginning stages of dating, is that you're gonna have to realize, and even in the dating, you can't, as a man, you cannot really overshare, or like vent or get deep. And if you do, now this is to deal with lots of, I'd say, insecure women, and that's more what I focus on when I say the brutal reality. Now this is all women, but the ones that will like attention test, that's all women too. But like the ones that do it excessively, those are ones that are maybe more insecure, and so those are what more I focus on, and I kind of lost my train of thought, so I'm trying to go back to it. Yeah, they don't care, so it's like, just watch how much you. I lose my train of thought. I'm gonna have to end it soon. Just watch how much you fucking overshare to them, bro. Because you gotta realize they think emotional. You want to flirt with them. You want to go in there and, make fun of them in a little way. So then they kind of just subconsciously be like, oh, I gotta like you gotta. It's like subconsciously jokingly around, and you're putting them like under your pedestal, and then it's like, oh, he's you know, he put himself above me. I gotta work for him, like type. You get my point. Maybe you don't. I hope you do. It's One Take Talks. Sounds of Doubt. I'll see y'all in the next one. That's the brutal truth about female nature in 7 minutes.